Good morning and welcome to Ayubowan, Sri Lanka. Today we have with us Dr. Ranjith Bandara. He is from the Economics Department of the Colombo University. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning to you.
Doctor, so when we are going to start talking about economic development that is taking place in Sri Lanka, can we start first by understanding what is the position of the economy right now and what major milestones in terms of economics the government has reached in the past couple of years?
Now, Sri Lanka is a tiny, small economy in the world. Now, no comparison can be made. Now, if you take, for example, a country like India or China, in our own region, they differ from one another. Like, why Sri Lanka is differ from every single economy in the world. Now, you have to look at Sri Lanka as a unique country with a unique position and opportunities. Now, Sri Lanka has been a colony of European from 1505 onwards up to 1948. Now, when you look at the historical facts about Sri Lankan economy, Sri Lanka has been an agrarian kind of economy. The main focus was to self-sustenance. You grow for your own consumption. Therefore, surplus was not the main concern. However, with the introduction of the plantation agriculture, the Sri Lankan economy became kind of a dual economy. Now, if you look at Snodgrass, that the whole applied economics collection of essays, where Sri Lanka became a dual economy. Now, this dualistic nature still there in Sri Lankan economy. In one hand, you could see a plantation agriculture. On the other hand, you could see this subsistence agriculture, where people grow for their own consumption. However, in 1977, the Sri Lankan economy make more open to the rest of the world, and which is known as the open economic policy, in concrete term, outward economic policy. That was the trend all over the world, that the economy should open up as much as possible to the rest of the world, so as to accommodate this globalization process. Now, we have witnessed over a period of 33 years of having open economic policy here in Sri Lanka, we neglected our infant industries, the local industries, in particular local agriculture sector. Now, there are stories in the historic period that Sri Lanka was a country which produced more than that it consumed. Now, if you look at the situation in Sri Lanka, how many tons of rice that we imported, how many tons of chili that we imported, and so on and so forth, that's the prime example. One could see that how we have neglected our local agriculture sector. Now, in 2005, for the first time in the history, this is recognized. The economy should be developed on the basis of local needs and aspirations. Now, you and me introduce ourselves as Sri Lankan not because we are living in Sri Lanka. We enjoy the language, the culture, the history, and various other things. Now, in 2005, that has been given an opportunity as Sri Lankans to recognize the Sri Lankan values. Therefore, the economic policy for the first time encourage the local economic to local economy to be developed. Now in that context, if you look at the current status of Sri Lanka, we are almost self-sufficient in food, right? Just still there is a gap, and also there is another issue to be addressed, that is to maintain the buffer stock. Now when the price of rice increases, definitely there can be a shortage in the market. If the buffer stock to be maintained, you must be able to get the amount that needed in the marketplace. Sri Lanka still need to address this concern. Other than that, we are almost self-sufficient in food, cereals, fruits, vegetables, and so on and so forth. Now the local economy started growing, and the local industries started having their own space in the economy, and the unemployment have reached the lowest. Now last night when I was watching CNN, the unemployment in United States of America, the superpower in the world, is almost 10%, right? And the underemployment figures are not revealed yet. They are employed, but they are not fully employed. And inflation, it is single digit. Well, this has been the argument that when we could reach the single digit, and the deficit in budget, deficit in balance of payment, and various other macroeconomic indicators are so positive, that is why I argued that there is a huge potential to be tapped.
Okay, Doctor. Now you were also talking about 2005, recognized that the importance of a local economy. Now, what is the economic policy that the government is planning on for the future? That is, how would they decide whether it has to be agro-based, whether it is industry-based, and what is exactly good, because it's also not exactly tested. So who decides, and what is exactly the policy?
Now you see, the Mahinda Chintana Vadapilivela is the political manifesto that was presented by His Excellency the President in 2005 when he was contesting for the presidential election. There are 611 different policy in it, a program in it, where it covers the entire spectrum of issues that to be addressed. In the Sri Lankan economy to move from another space to another location, to a higher position, where the local economy has given a priority, because it has been neglected. There still in Sri Lanka 70% are living either in rural or semi-urban areas, right? And that is why urbanization is not a serious concern yet here in Sri Lanka. Therefore, the Mahinda Chintana would be the recommended policy even for the future. I do not think that we need another economic policy that may be prescribed by a World Bank or IMF.